Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be the days you never thought would come. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the days you never thought would come. I was going to do this in a singular version, the day, but it's going to be days because there are so many. And I thought about this video on my walking meditation, and here we go. Let's jump in. The days you thought would never come, first of all, let's go back to when you were younger. Maybe you were in high school or university and you couldn't wait to graduate. You could not wait to get out into the world and do something. And school was over and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the last day of school. I'm so excited. You graduated. And then what happened? Well, things weren't quite what you thought they would be until you got on your feet. That's one part. Next part would be maybe you had to travel abroad somewhere and you never thought you would get the opportunity. Well, you did. And that was fantastic. You had a great experience. Now, fast forward to the narcissistic relationship. You were in the relationship, and this is not a relationship that you wanted to enter because the narcissist most likely was wearing a mask to manipulate you, and they tricked you and trapped you and had you enter that relationship. Most likely you were vulnerable, or you were naive, or both, and perhaps you were a people pleaser, a yes person. You couldn't say no, the strongest word in the English language, and you probably didn't have boundaries, but above all, you believed that most people on the planet thought like you thought. Now we know that that is not true. There are people out there that want to take everything they can from you. Now, the days you never thought would come, one of them would be the day that you actually realize that that person is a narcissist or a toxic person, because you didn't have the wisdom. You weren't taught the narcissistic abusive cycle in school, so you didn't know what to look for. You didn't know the signs. You didn't know the glossary, the terms, the definitions. All you knew is that each and every day you were in that relationship longer, you were being more and more peppered with abuse. And you were experiencing rage fits, gaslighting, the silent treatment, stonewalling, the smear campaign, triangulation, my least favorite thing these people do. You experienced it all and more. And if you could write a book about your life, people would think that it came from a Hollywood Screen Actors Guild writer. Not so fast, that came from you. Because people can't wrap their head around what you went through unless they went through something similar themselves. That's why we all speak the same language post-narcissistic relationship. And actually, when you first discover what narcissism is, there are so many similarities to other people's stories and other people's experiences that you compare them and you get confirmation, you get validation, you are heard, you're listened to. That is exactly why I created the community and the channel, to pay it forward to those people who perhaps are right now in a relationship and they're just realizing right now they're getting their first light bulb moment that maybe it is with a narcissist or a toxic person, but it's not just them. They're not the people with the concerns or issues. They're the ones that are being told that they're the ones that need to see a therapist and get help, and you're so naive and not naive, you're so insecure, etc. But you never thought that day would come because, again, you didn't know what narcissism was. So that's one of the days that you never thought would come. You probably sat down on the couch or the ground and you probably were in complete disbelief that the person perhaps that you fell in love with, or maybe it was your mom or dad or brother or sister, your whole life, they weren't who you thought they were. And you were the abundant, beautiful, bright, shining light, and you still are. And that person and or people were trying to take it from you. They were trying to devalue you, not have you believe in yourself. They were trying to take you over into the dark side so you would not exist, so you would not have a voice, so you would not be able to pay it forward, and you would certainly not discover who they were. But here you are. You're understanding now. So that's one of the days that you never thought would come. Another one, let's say that you had to divorce the narcissist. Well, many times when you're trying to divorce a toxic or challenging person, i.e. the narcissist, they do not want everything to go swimmingly. They do not want to go things in order. They do believe they are above the law, and they believe many times that they can drag out the divorce proceedings as long as possible to burn through money, to keep you trapped and stuck so you can't advance, and so that they will play all the games, all the mental jujitsu games of gaslighting you and smearing you, and they will drag it out as long as they possibly can. So let's say you finally did hear that gavel hit. Boom, it's official, you're divorced. Well, there's another one. You never thought that day would come, and you worked very hard to get divorced. Very, very hard, specifically once you realized what you were up against. Another one, sad one, and most of these are sad, actually, if you want the truth, but it's reality, so that's why we practice radical acceptance. But another one is the kids. Let's say that you had kids with the narcissist. Well, I'm sure you figured out relatively soon thereafter that you weren't seeing the kids nearly as much as you had in the past, or perhaps you were flat out parental alienated. Maybe it's the grandkids, maybe it's the great grandkids, Maybe it's your sister or brother who isn't allowing you to see the kids. Maybe it was your ex who isn't allowing you to see your kids. The whole point is parental alienation. It is a very, very disruptive thing to do. And it clearly illustrates that the narcissist the narcissist doesn't care about anybody, including their kids. That's living proof right there, if you ever wanted a clear definition of it. Because why would they withhold you seeing your own flesh and blood? Or maybe you adopted the kids or became a step parent. Why would they do that? They would do that because they can. And they don't want the kids to learn the truth about them, and they don't want you to build a healthy, stable relationship with them. So that's another one, when you finally realize that perhaps you wouldn't see the kids again. It's a very difficult pill to swallow, but it's the way these relationships work out many times. Another day you thought would never come was when you would see who the new supply was, if you ever figured out who the new supply was. Now, I will tell you, I would not want to know who the new supply was or is, because whoever they are, they're getting the same thing that you're getting, probably only worse. And the less you know about the narcissist and the new supply, the better off you will be. So, side note, pro tip, you should not be looking at the narcissist social media. You should want nothing to do with them. You should be focusing on yourself. You should be going no contact, blocking them, deleting them, removing all flying monkeys and people associated with them, or any person who is one person away from the narcissist. In other words, if you have people in common, you really need to watch who you surround yourself with post-narcissistic relationship. But that's another one. Who is the new supply? Maybe you figured it out and you're like, oh, or someone told you, hey, your ex so-and-so this is who they're dating. You're like, oh my, you don't want to know that. That is not information you should want to know. But another one. How about this one? A hoover. Many of you never received a hoover. If you didn't receive a hoover, that's a good thing. You should not want a hoover. And if you get hoover, you should not accept it. Play that part again. It will never benefit you. What a hoover is the narcissist trying to draw you back into the relationship for a minute, a day, a week, a month, maybe a year, who knows. But they will claim anything they possibly can to get back into your good graces, to have you unblock them, or to have you rekindle the relationship with them. Only later on you will find out that they most likely will discard you again, or they will inflict damage, verbal abuse, whatever they can do. And you will be scratching your head saying, why did I do that? I can't believe this. I knew everything. I knew what to do, and yet I opened the door again. And when you open the door to the narcissist, once you've identified that's who they are, it will never serve you. And if you have the wisdom and you have the tools that are provided for you in the community and on the channel, you really need to use them. They're there for a reason. Going no contact is a very pivotal part of the healing path. But the hoover, let's say you didn't get one, and years have gone by, 10, 20, 30, and lo and behold, boom, there's a hoover. What is that going to do to you? I can't tell you. What I can tell you is don't accept the hoover. Because why I said that is many times people say to themselves, I'll never get hoovered, never going to happen. There's no way. I've gotten remarried, I've moved halfway around the world, I have a new life and everything. But don't think so fast, because the narcissist is always spying on you and former sources of supply, whether you know it or not. That's why they create fake accounts, social media accounts. That's why they use flying monkeys. That's why many times they will be keeping an eye on you through direct spying or fake accounts. So another one, that's the hoover. You never thought that day would come, but it did. How about when you finally break free from the narcissist? Let's say you weren't married, but you finally sold the house, or you finally relocated, or you finally moved. You didn't think that day would come either, and it did. And when you moved away from the narcissist, let's say you were friends, or it was your brother or sister, or a romantic relationship, although you weren't married, although it could have been, but let's say you weren't, and you relocate, you pack up and leave, and you leave a lot of things behind. What happens? Your energy returns, your health returns, your status returns, your clarity returns, your energy returns, everything returns. It doesn't return overnight. There's a big learning curve, because now you have a big void to fill, because you don't have the toxic narcissist barking in your ear all the time, telling you negativity, or having you wonder where they are and who they're with and what they're doing. When you put all of that in the past and you relocate, then you're like, wow, I never thought I would do this. I actually moved 5 different countries away, and here I am, and I'm now in an abundant place. Yeah, you are, because you earned it. You deserve it. You've been through something most people haven't been through. Other people can't wrap their head around the kind of relationship you went through, and other people are still trapped in the narcissistic fog. They don't know what's going on, but that's not you. So that's another day that you never thought would come when you finally relocated. What about this one? A holiday or a birthday. Your birthday was always blown up when you were in the relationship, and I'm certain the holidays were too. Let's throw vacations in there while we're at it. Those 3 things. Well, what happened there? When the vacation, birthday, or holiday was kiboshed, meaning the narcissist would not want you to be in a happy mood, what would happen? That would be ruined, and you would not be looking forward to the holidays or birthdays or vacations. You would actually kind of be holding your breath, hoping to get through it unscathed. Well, now you're free of the narcissist, and now you can enjoy your vacation. You can enjoy your birthday. You can enjoy the holidays. You can do whatever you want to do because now you're free from that toxic relationship, and you never thought that day would come. That is why so frequently during one-on-one sessions that I provide, I share with people, if you are trying to break free from the narcissist, or if you have broken free, either way, whenever you get a win, you need to celebrate that win. Now, when I say celebrate the win, I mean sit down, really take stock of how far you've come, really look at yourself and say, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. I'm breaking free from this relationship, or I have broken free, and I'm not affected the way I used to be. I'm not getting triggered the way I used to get triggered. I'm not ruminating. I am really on the healing path, and I'm headed towards that pinnacle of indifference, the mountaintop of indifference, when I no longer care about the narcissist or any person from that period of time. So you need to celebrate your wins. And again, when I say celebrate, what I mean literally is really take stock of how far you've come and enjoy the accomplishments that you've achieved. Example, maybe you just filed for divorce today. Well, that's a pretty big thing. To an average person, it's a huge thing. When you're divorcing the narcissist, it's a huge thing times 1,000, because we never know what these people are going to do, but that would be an example. So celebrate, okay, I took the first step, and then as you're making more and more progress, celebrate more and more. And again, celebrate means just really be proud of yourself, how far and how much you're accomplishing. Another thing, another day you never thought would come, when you would get your hobbies, reclaim your hobbies, or create new hobbies. Because what did the narcissist do when you were in that relationship with them? They didn't want you to do your skiing or surfing or reading books. They didn't want you to do any of that, because all of your attention and eyes should have been on the narcissist. That's where they needed you. They needed you to be the unpaid helper. They needed you to be the walking apology. They needed you to be the sounding board. They needed you to be there for them so you could take on all of their toxicity and their abuse, and they could regulate themselves through you. In other words, you were the dumping ground, and you knew it back then, but you didn't know the terms were. You knew that you were taking all this gaslighting and the silent treatment, which is a whole different thing, and you were tolerating it until one of the two of you gave in and apologized, and I can assure you that was you every single time. But now that's not what's happening. Understand the message. There are so many different things here that when the days you never thought would come. Another one would be when you are rekindling your, so I want to finish the hobbies. With the hobbies, yes, now perhaps maybe you began skiing again, or surfing, or creating new things. That's called living your life. It's not called doing something that the narcissist didn't want you to do. It's doing something that you want to do, and you can do it, and you should do it because it benefits you, and it's got nothing to do with the narcissist. So another thing, another day that you never thought would come, would be maybe you rekindled relationships from the past. Maybe, let's say that the narcissist was driving wedges or voids between you and, let's say, your friends or your family members, and you hadn't seen any of those people or talked to them in a long time because the narcissist didn't want you to, because the narcissist wanted you isolated, and they wanted you all for themselves so they could feed off of you. Well, the narcissist has now been kicked to the curb, or you ended it, or it ended, and now you're healing, and now you're rebuilding some of those relationships. You're rekindling the relationships, and you probably never thought that day would come, or those days would come, because you were in it so deep. You didn't even give your immediate family members or friends the time of day, because the narcissist wouldn't allow you to do that. And side note there, why the narcissist wants to do that many times is because they do want to feed off of you, and they do want to isolate you, and they want to make sure that you are their supply, only theirs. It's like a squirrel finding a nut and bringing it up into the tree. It's their little nut, and they're going to have the nut, and they're going to chew on it throughout the winter until that's what they want to do. And then when they're done, they spit the nut out and throw it away and get a new one. Maybe not the best example, you get my point. They want to feed off of you. So having said all those things, the next thing I would share, the day that you never thought would come, one of the days you never thought would come, would be when you finally go and do something for yourself. Now, I'm not talking about hobbies or relocating. I'm saying if today you want to sleep in till 10 o'clock, you sleep until 10 o'clock. If you want to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, you stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning. You see, now you've reclaimed your time and your day and your week and your month and your life. And you never thought that would happen because you were always walking around on eggshells, and you were always doing things for the narcissist to the detriment of yourself, to the betterment of them. And you never ever really had time to do anything for yourself. So when you really slow your life down and you realize, wow, I can do so many things, I can accomplish so many things, because what happens is all the energy that you were exerting going into the narcissist and trying to keep that relationship afloat, it now all goes back into you. And when it goes back into you, the doors of abundance will open up for you once you've healed, or when you're on the healing path and you're really getting closer to that pinnacle of indifference, because the doors of abundance are real. And so many people I work with during one-on-one sessions are now experiencing this. They've reclaimed their lives. They've kicked the narcissist to the curb. They've broken the trauma bond. They've blocked the narcissist. They've thrown away virtually everything that the narcissist ever gave them, which isn't really much if you really think about it. The narcissist usually isn't a good gift giver, etc. But they now understand that they're the priority. They come first, second, and third, and that's the path. The path of life post-narcissistic relationship is to reclaim back your energy, your time, your emotions, everything about you. Get your identity back and discover who you really were meant to be. And that's what happens post-relationship, because when you're in the relationship, you lose yourself, and you need to lose yourself to find yourself. Now, if the relationship for you ended recently, you may not quite get that, but continue on the path, continue moving forward each and every day. That will resonate with you one day. And when it does, drop comments below, because your average person doesn't have to lose themselves to find themselves. Your average person, you want the truth, they don't even know who they are. They're going through life in the everyday fog, and that's for a whole different video. But post-narcissistic relationship, you're not in the everyday fog, you're in the narcissistic fog, and you need to get out of there, and you need to figure out what happened and how you were manipulated and taken advantage of, and then you heal. That's what we do. And that's why I mentioned the third version of you, because when you rise through the ashes like a phoenix, you are the most galvanized version of yourself known to humankind. And it is a place of abundance that I cannot tell you. It is an amazing place to be. It is a very, very beautiful place to be sitting at. And another thing, another day that you never thought would come, the sleepless nights and the tears you cried, or the ruminating and missing the narcissist, etc., all those things. Those things, they go away over time as you're healing. They certainly don't go away they go away with going through the tunnel and seeing that light at the end of the tunnel, and processing things, and journaling, and reading, and watching videos, and meditating, and seeing a qualified therapist, doing all these things and really slowing your life down. But remember, the narcissistic relationship is a relationship you have to heal from. You can't just put a Band-Aid on it and jump back in the dating pool and think that everything's going to be fine, because the odds are you will find perhaps another narcissist or another person who will not be on your wavelength. That happens so frequently. That's why you have to heal from it, from the relationship. But think about what I just mentioned there. When all the things, you're no longer having sleepless nights. You can now get out of bed at a reasonable time. You can now go to work and not be thinking about the narcissist. You can now park your car where you want to. You can now leave the laundry for a weekend and not worry about being screamed at because there's an old smelly sock in the corner that hasn't been picked up since Thanksgiving, but it was their sock and they left it there and blamed you for it. All of these things I'm mentioning to you. Another one, and then I'll get ready to close the video. How about this one? You don't have to think about when the front door would open. Who would it be, Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde? You never knew. And you were on eggshells the whole time, and you were holding your breath hoping that the narcissist was in a good mood that day, because if they weren't, you were going to pay the price for it, or the whole house would pay the price for it. Maybe the narcissist would give you the silent treatment for a few days, and they would talk to everybody else like it was nothing. That's to alienate you and isolate you and make you pay for their discomfort. But that's what the narcissist does. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. You don't have to open the front door yourself and go in the house and see somebody and want to give them great news about the promotion you just got or the pay raise, and they just turn at you and look and say, just wait, I've got to boil the egg. Let me boil the egg first and I'll get back to you later on. Or hang on a second, I've got to go upstairs and clean the lint from the shirts or something like that. And you're just scratching your head like, really, again? I've been dealing with this for years. Enough, I can't do this. That's another thing, tolerating the poor behavior of the narcissist and being silenced. I've created many, many videos on being silenced and the silent treatment and how your silence empowers you. There's a playlist on those. You should check them out. They're very, very pivotal videos. They're instrumental in your healing path. But that's another one. You don't have to deal with the narcissist silencing you and not being heard in the relationship. You now have a voice. You can communicate with whomever you want to, and you don't have the narcissist looking over your shoulder saying, what are you doing? They don't even like you. Why would you be talking to them? What's your problem? It's so embarrassing. I can't believe you're doing that. You don't have that anymore, because the narcissist has slithered away to somebody else, and it's not you. And unfortunately, you need to heal. But the new supply, either A, they are a narcissist themselves, or they're going to fall to the same fate that you did. They're going to have to go through the cycle and figure it out, because right now, whoever the new supply is, they believe they've just found gold. What they found is fool's gold, and it's about to get not so good for them, because that's how the cycle works. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I love doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And then That was just a brief list of the days that you never thought would come. There are so many more, but please drop comments below and pay it forward, because each and every one of us in the community have gone through something that most people don't go through, and we're getting stronger each and every day. So when your cup is full, pay it forward. Until then, continue on the healing path. Continue to become awakened and aware, educated and empowered. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. Bye, everybody.